Scientific notation, adding and subtracting. So this is a digital lesson. So once your students know how to change numbers to scientific notation and they know how to order and compare them, then they can start adding and subtracting. So the first slide just gives them a definition of what scientific notation is, just a review. And then it explains that it's really easy to add and subtract numbers in scientific notation if the exponents are exactly the same. All you would have to do in that case is just add the mantissa, which are the first terms. And then the 10 and the exponents stay the same. So they get a little practice doing that. And then the procedure is very different. There are multiple steps when the exponents are different. So you've got to change them to the same exponent in order to add or subtract. So it shows here that adding these two numbers that are in scientific notation, so you want to look at the smaller exponent. That's the one you're going to change. So you're going to change the smaller exponent to the larger one. And to do that, you're just going to multiply by 10 to the second power. So if you multiply times 10 to the second power, well, when the bases are the same, you add the exponents. So that would give you 10 to the fifth. If you multiply this term times 10 to the second power, you have to divide this term by 10 to the second power. So it walks students through the steps of doing that. It gives them an example how to do that. And then once it's changed, you can add them together. So these are color coded. So the ones that are in this light yellow are the examples. And the students can use this example slide in order to do the other slides. So here we have an example. It asks them first, which is the smaller of the two exponents. So we've got a 6 and a 2. They just type in a 2. And then you subtract the smaller exponent from the larger. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And that tells you what you're going to multiply by. 10 to this power, 10 to the fourth power. They're going to do the same thing for two other problems. So on slide 9, they're going to do the typing in themselves. The smaller of the two exponents is, and so they're going to put in a 2 because it's a 2 and a 7. They're going to subtract the smaller from the larger, so 7 minus 2 is 5, and that means they're going to multiply by 10 to the fifth power. They're going to practice again. This is just step 1. So you're looking at the exponents, the smaller of the two, and this one is 3. Subtract the smaller from the greater, so 6 minus 3 is 3. They're going to multiply by 10 to the third power. Okay, so that's just step 1. We get to step 2. Again, these yellow slides are the ones that are the examples. So once you know what you're going to multiply by, and in blue here would be the number that they're going to change. Okay, they don't need to change this one because we want to take the smaller exponent, change it to the larger. Okay, so we want them both to be 10 to the sixth power so that we can add them together. Okay, so here we're going to multiply 10 to the second power times 10 to the fourth. And from the previous slide, they determined they were going to multiply by 10 to the fourth. Okay, so they're just going to fill that in. To keep the expression equivalent, they're going to do the opposite of multiplying. They're going to divide 5.8, which is the other term, the mantissa. They're going to divide it by 10 to the fourth power. So if they multiply here, they have to divide here to keep it equivalent. So when they change this, they're going to multiply 10 to the fourth times 10 to the second. They get 10 to the sixth, 10 to the 4 plus 2. Here they're going to divide, so they're going to take 5 and 8 tenths, divide by 10 to the fourth, so that means they're going to move to the left 4 spaces, and this is what they'll get. So this is their example. Next 2 slides, they're going to go ahead into step 2 with a problem they've already started. So it says here the number they're going to put here, the exponent, is on slide 9, so they just have to go back to slide 9, the other blue slide. Whatever number they have here is what they're going to put in the first space here. And there are instructions on here on how to add an exponent on Google Slides. Okay, so just the same thing. They've got two examples they're going to do on their own. And then we go to step 3. So step 3, we're going to go to the bottom of slide 11. They're going to put in the term that they have here when they've changed it to 10 to the 6th power. Now they're going to add these two together. So they add the 2 and 7/10 to this decimal times, and then that 10 to the 6th will stay the same. And this is their solution. And it's in scientific notation, so they don't need to change anything. Okay, they're going to do step 3 for the other two problems. Now they're going to, in slide 17, they're given a new problem to do. They're just going to go step 1, 2, and 3. Follow all the steps that they did on the others. And then when they get to slide 20, for those who need a challenge, they've got a problem here with negative exponents. So they're going to use the same steps, use scratch paper to solve, and they're going to type in their solution here. So this is a digital lesson on adding and subtracting with scientific notation.